when the difficult person is not in the house and isn't dictating what's going to be on TV or in music or whatever, and you have, you know, a place where you can do what you've got to do, I would say put on praise music. Surround yourself with people that love you,
Yes, yes.
that will pray for you.
Have you ever found yourself dealing with so much anxiety if you've been in a relationship with someone that is a narcissist? Well, I'm Tyler, and this is my friend Karen, and we're here on the Narcissist I'm Asking for a Friend podcast. Now, Karen, I know that you have had so many clients that have had, issues with partners in narcissistic abuse or toxic relationships in general. And also, just from personal experience for myself, just the anxiety that comes with dealing with someone that is a narcissist. It can be very taxing on the mind, your mental, just ability to think and process things. And you get to a point where you're just on eggshells all the time, where you just can't even remember simple things. You're just always on guard. And I know, like, that can't be healthy for you, your body, anything else like that. Even friends that I've had that have been in relationships, they've experienced the same thing, and they just said it's just an ongoing, just constant battle in their mind. So, what can you do, or what have you done to help? Some of your clients and even our listeners here on the podcast and on YouTube that are watching.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, definitely the anxiety and the questioning of oneself, because you're constantly being barraged with criticisms, and a lot of self-doubt will come in because it's like, is it really me? Am I that bad? And because this person makes you out to be that bad. And so then, yeah, anxiety and even depression will be stirred up. And so a lot of times with my clients, I try to do mindfulness techniques because it helps to get them present in the moment. If you are depressed, you're actually thinking about the past. If you're anxious,
Interesting.
if you're anxious, you're thinking about the future. So
Right.
what you want to help people do, and help yourself do, is get to a state of being present and not allowing yourself to worry. A lot of the worry, the subconscious thought, often for somebody that's with a narcissist, is this is never going to change. I feel so hopeless. And a lot of it also is a lot of negative talk about oneself, because you've heard a lot of negative things about yourself. What I would say to practice mindfulness, of course, like we said, this is Christian perspective, right? So I will teach breathing exercises. I will do some tense release, and you could do these things in the comfort of your own home. You could even be at your desk at work. And if you have a corner, no one's going to see your eyes are closed. You don't want to think that you're sleeping, right? If you're at work. But you can do some of these things very quietly on your own, just to give yourself a break. Or if you have a lunch break, go in your car, just turn on the AC or the heat, whatever the weather is like, and get yourself into a state of, being comfortable, and then practice these things. So we're going to do a little bit of that today with our listeners, so that they can practice this. So the first thing I really want you to do is also, think about how your body feels right now. Is there any level of anxiety right now? Is there tension in your body? Because then after we do these things, we want to see, is there a difference? Has it made a difference for you?
I do have a question for you. Sometimes someone's body or how they're feeling could have been in a state of anxiety for so long, they may not even know, because it's almost become like a norm, the anxious feelings and that state of being. So how would they be able to identify, before we go any further, because I want them to be able to know in what exactly is the anxiety doing and causing to their body?
Right,
So
right.
that they know.
Sure. That's a good question. Well, they may not know as I'm talking and saying, what are you feeling in your body? Because to them, it's like, I think I've been feeling like this for a very long time, so I don't know if it's anxiety. Well, when we do this exercise, if they feel, wait a minute, I do feel relaxed right now, and I have not felt like this in a very long time, then they can pretty
Right.
much guess that they've been in that constant state of,
Mm.
adrenaline pumping through their bodies, and, them not using it up to fight or flee, right? That's really
Right.
have those hormones for. So this will kind of be a test for you to see if there's a difference for you at all.
Right.
You'll be able to bring yourself to that point where you're
Right.
just thinking, really, the mind is, when you're in a state of anxiety, in order
Mhm.
to be anxious, you first have to have a thought. The
Mm.
thought brings the feeling, and the feeling brings the behavior.
Right.
So
Wow.
if that's what's going on, you're having constant, automatic thoughts that make you feel like you have to be in this state of alertness, right?
Mhm.
If you do not allow yourself to come into that present state where nothing bad is happening right now, I am okay.
Right.
I can I can sit for a few minutes here and just relax myself.
Right.
Hopefully you'll feel a difference, that this has helped. Um, and then this is something that you can practice continuously, really, when you're by yourself, when you're with other people, even you can sit in a chair and they don't necessarily have to know that you're doing what I teach you right now.
Now, do they have something like maybe something going on with their heart, or maybe even like their breathing, or maybe even
Or
like headaches, or just different things, pain in their body? And I guess the reason why I'm bringing that up is because people don't realize all those anxious feelings can actually manifest into physical pain and medical conditions and issues
absolutely,
that
absolutely.
happen in the body.
Yeah, the body can just take so much cortisol and negative hormones and adrenaline, constantly being pumped, before there's going to be some kind of signs that, something else is going on. So you definitely do
Right.
want to go and see a doctor if you do have physical, evidence that something else is happening. Uh,
Right.
you do want to take care of you. And so, of course, we're not medical doctors, but uh,
Right.
being under the care of a physician, definitely. And of course, going to see a professional, therapist, so that you can
Yes.
talk some of these things through. And of course, and I know in this situation with a narcissist, that's not always easy to do, because they have tabs on you and they want to know where you are at all
Mhm.
times. And,
Right.
that's a matter of control. And, not every narcissist does that. But of
Right.
course, if that's your situation, then that may be a difficult thing to try to do. So a couple of scriptures that I wanted to read. One is from Matthew 6:34. And it's something that Jesus says in talking about getting ourselves present, getting ourselves out of thinking about the future and worrying and getting anxious, and getting ourselves out of depression and thinking about the past and letting it make us sad. Jesus says in Matthew 6:34, therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. And then Paul in Philippians 3:13, the second half of that verse says, Paul says, but one thing I do, forgetting what is behind and straining toward what is ahead. And so,
Mm.
so both of those words in God's word tell us, it is actually a good idea to, you know, to focus on what we're supposed to be doing today, straight
Right.
toward what's ahead, but you don't want to worry about what's ahead. You don't,
Right.
you don't want to fret about yesterday. You want to get present with God and trust that He's going to be in tomorrow when that comes. But don't be, you know, we're supposed to be prepared about tomorrow. If you have to
Right.
work tomorrow, you got to iron your clothes. You got to, whatever
Mm.
it is you
Yeah.
got to do to prepare for the job,
Right.
right? But He
Yeah.
doesn't want you to worry about it. He wants you to
Mhm.
stay present. So that's, the key is trying to really stay focused on today and what needs to be done today. Throughout the Bible, um, Israelites would put up stones when they wanted to remember when God brought them through a certain difficult situation. And
Mhm.
I think that that's like a symbol for us, that we have to have those stones of remembrance in our life of how God
Mm.
brought us through. And so remind yourself about the things that were difficult that you did fret about, but then
Yes.
somehow God brought you through to a better place.
Oh,
So
that's good.
yeah, remember. And then what I teach you right now, what we're going to practice right now, those things will also be helpful to get you present. So, and we'll do
Okay.
another session. If you like this particular segment where we're talking about this, let me know.
Mhm.
Because I do have other things that we could do that are geared at getting present. But I don't
Perfect.
want to give you too much in one segment because I think that could be overwhelming. So,
Yes, yes.
so are we ready? Do you think you're ready to do this?
I'm ready. I'm ready to release everything and get present. So let's
Okay,
do this.
good. All right.
Listeners, you're gonna do it with us. So
Yes, we're going to do it together. So Tyler and I are going to close our eyes now. And as our eyes are closed, we're going to think about our bodies. Think about whether or not you're feeling any tension anywhere in your body. You know, for some people will carry tension in their shoulders. Some might carry that in their face muscles. Some might carry it in their back. Some might carry it kind of in this pit of their stomach. There's a lot of different ways that people can carry stress. And so think about that. And now what I want you to do is I want you to actually tense every muscle in your body. Tense all the way. Think about muscles that might not be tensed yet and tense them up. As long as it's comfortable for you to do that. I know some people have some issues with, parts of their body are hurting. I don't want you to hurt yourself. So be conscious of that. But once everything is tensed, now I want you to start with your feet and slowly release the muscles in your feet and working up your leg, release your calves, release the area of muscles around your knees and your thighs, working up past the buttocks, release everything on the way, and then up toward your back, and then all the way up to your shoulders. And then I want you to go down your arms and feel those muscles release all the way down to your fingertips, and then wiggle your fingers. And then working back up your arms, just release muscles. You can even slightly move parts just to loosen them up a little bit more, even roll your shoulders a little bit to release the muscles there. Move your head from left to right so that your neck muscles are released, and feel your face muscles release tension. And then take a deep breath in through your nose and slowly allow it out through your mouth. Continue to breathe that way, slow but deep breaths in through your nose and slowly let them out through your mouth. Okay, and now continue to breathe slowly like that. And now I'm going to have you imagine yourself walking on the beach. And as you're walking, you're the only one. There's no one around you. You're walking on this warm sand. You have no shoes on. And you look off to the right, and there's the water, and you look off to the left, and there's the dunes. And as you continue to walk along the beach, you're looking over at the water again, and you notice that the sun is shining so bright against the water that it's creating these little flashing diamond effects on the surface of the water. And you continue to walk and you decide, I want to try out the water, see if it's warm. And as you do, you start to put your right foot in and it feels just like perfect bath water. And so you decide to wade along in the water. And as you're wading along, you look down and below the surface, you notice a starfish. So you bend over and you gently scoop it up in your palm of your right hand. And you bring it up toward your face. And as you're looking at it, you notice all the intricacies of our creator's hand and how he created this creature. You flip it over onto its back in your left hand and you look at the other side and it looks very different. And you get amazed by our designer. He designed us all so perfectly, and even this little creature in your hand is designed so perfectly. You flip it back over into your right hand and you rest it upon the surface of the water and you pull your hand away and you watch it drip down. You get back up and you start to walk again. And as you're walking, you decide to go up back onto the sand. And right overhead, some seagulls go by. And you can hear some children laughing in the distance. It must be on the other side of the dunes. They must be playing on swings. And you continue to walk. And as you continue to walk, you look in the distance, and pretty far away, you see a person walking toward you. And as he gets closer, you notice that he has a long white robe on and a big smile. And you know his smile is directed toward you. And as he gets closer, he looks at you and he says, "My child." And he takes you and he draws you close to himself and he rests your head against his chest. And he says your name. And he says, "I love you with an everlasting love. I will never leave you or forsake you. So do not fear, for I'm with you. Do not be dismayed, for I'm your God. I will help you, I will strengthen you, and I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. As close as I am with you right now is as close as I always am with you. And as hard as it seems right now for you, you can do this. You can do all things through me because I'll strengthen you to do it." So he takes you by the shoulders and he pulls you away far enough to look at you in the eyes and he says, "Do you trust me?" And you nod and he smiles at you and you smile back. And then he takes you by the shoulders and he turns you in the opposite direction to head back in the direction that you had come. And as you walk, you decide to turn around one more time just to take another look. And there he is, smiling at you like a proud papa. And he says, "I love you." And so then you begin to walk in that direction that you came. And now take in a deep breath through your nose, let it out through your mouth. And again, another breath in. And on the way out, you can open your eyes.
Yes.
So think about it now. Tyler, do you feel different?
Yes. It was just so relaxing. It
Good.
really was. Just like took away any worries, stress, anything that was on my mind. It was really helpful to just kind of block everything out.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Wow.
And what I do is I use scripture. So everything
Mhm.
that I had Jesus say to you are not words I just made up.
Right, right.
Word.
Yes.
And so you can use God's word to help yourself feel better about things just by hearing him speak things to you. So,
Mhm.
putting word, maybe writing down words that Jesus has spoken on a piece of paper and then practicing the imagery even by yourself. Bring yourself to the beach or bring yourself to the mountains, to a waterfall, or bring yourself, you know, somewhere else, wherever your happy place might be. And
Right.
and let the Lord meet you there and tell you some of the things that you love hearing from him.
Oh, that is amazing. I definitely love that. And I want to hear from you listeners and, chime in. What did you feel after doing that exercise? We want to hear from you because this is just amazing. These are some things that, as you're going through life with, with the person that, is narcissistic, and you're dealing with these things. These are the type of tools and techniques you need to be able to just really to get that focus and re-energize, and get your peace, some calmness.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I love it. And how often do you think that a person should do it?
I don't think it's bad for anybody and everybody to do that once a day, just to kind of get themselves back
Mhm.
to that point where they're saying, okay, get refocused, right? We
Right.
don't have to be so worried about tomorrow. We don't have to be depressed about yesterday. I mean, there are some big things that people go through that cause them to feel depressed. And so,
Of
I'm
course.
not saying that if you've, lost a loved one, well, if you're depressed, then there's something wrong with you. I'm just saying do things that will help get you present. God wants to help you heal over the past, but we do need to sometimes just get present with God and feel his love and feel him, you know, sense him speaking to us, whatever it is he might be saying for the day to you. So that's why reading the word, spending time with God is so important, because he might say something to me today, but it's going to be maybe a different thing he's going to say tomorrow. I don't want to miss out on what it might be. So, read the word, spend some
Right.
time, quiet time like this, like we just did, and have different disciplines that you do in your life that help you to feel the closeness of God.
That is so amazing. That's so good to hear, because you do need that time. And for, any of our listeners that may be struggling with this, maybe they are having a hard time getting away. It could be that they have kids, maybe they're a stay-at-home mom, or they work a lot, depending on whatever the situation is going on, where they just may not have a lot of time. What advice have you given some of your clients in the past, and maybe trying to, speak away and get some time, or, because we know some narcissistic people can be controlling. So like you said, they always want to know where you are and what you're doing. What advice have you found that has been helpful to some? May not work for everyone, right? But
Right.
it may work for some. This, to get that time to be able to do that relaxation technique there, and mindfulness.
Right, right. It might be when everybody goes to sleep, if there are children in the house and you've got a tight schedule trying to take care of everything and you're not getting much help, maybe by your spouse or significant other. And so now you're trying to, you know, balance life and all the stressors that are there, and you're trying to get that moment of peace. So how could you do it? It might be when everyone goes to sleep and just before you lay your head to the pillow. So
Right.
it's going to be different for everyone. I remember when I was a young mom. I mean, I was married. I am married for 45 years to a wonderful man, not a narcissist. But I remember how busy life was, even though we both were, helping out around the house and doing things. Um, and I remember, just trying to find time to pray and
Mm.
get quiet with God. And I remember we had a friend who also had a wife like me, and they had 5 kids. I had four, so
Right.
it was a little bit crazy for both families. And I remember
Right.
the husband actually was had a special little devotion that he did with the families. And one thing
Mm.
that he said was he read from the book of Ruth, and how Ruth was following behind Boaz's people. And if you've never
Yeah.
read that, read the book of Ruth, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Oh
But
yeah.
he was following, Ruth was following behind his men and picking up throughout the day what they would drop along the way.
Mm.
Instead, she wasn't there picking up the grains along with them. She was just picking up whatever was left over. And so
Right.
he had used that kind of as an analogy toward us about being busy moms and feeling like we never
Right.
get a break, kind of thing. And he said,
Right.
I believe that what you can do is just find those 5 minutes here and those 5 minutes there. And wherever you might catch a break,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you need one. If you've already gotten it, then maybe later. But if you haven't had a chance, and now all of a sudden there's a break for you, seize that moment and give yourself that moment of peace that you can, just get back in touch with the Lord, and put your focus
Yes.
on him, and get yourself present.
Oh, that is just such great advice, Karen. And you're going to help so many listeners with that. Just taking that time. I don't think people realize, or maybe they take it for granted, or they just don't know how important it is to have that quiet time, that time to commune with the Lord and to really just be present with Him and to just be in His presence. And
Yeah.
how calming and peaceful that can be, and how it can help us in so many ways. So, oh
Mhm.
my gosh. So I'm just for our listeners, I guess for this last thing, what do you want to leave them with?
To me, it's just really practicing the disciplines. And what's the disciplines? The disciplines are, if you don't have energy in your body to
Mhm.
praise, and put on praise music, set
Yes.
yourself up in an atmosphere when the difficult person is not in the house and isn't dictating what's going to be on TV or in music or whatever, and you have, you know, a place where you can do what you've got to do. I would say put on praise music. Surround yourself with people that love you,
Yes, yes.
that will pray for you. And also,
Mhm.
yes, find a confidant, but do not find a confidant that um, you don't trust. Find somebody
Right,
that you can talk to, that it's not going to go to anyone else, because you want to be able to find a person that you can go to at different times that I remember when I was a younger mom, I just wanted to have older women to talk to because I was a new
right,
Christian and I wanted to be able to, just ask questions of them. And
right,
I had a few ladies that were older than me that made me feel welcome to come with my questions. And I would go for a
right.
walk, oftentimes walk with one, and
Nice.
with the stroller, because I always had a baby.
Oh,
So, but she was very kind. And so tried to find somebody that could mentor you, that you could learn
yes.
from, and that you could, and after speaking to somebody for a while, you can tell whether or not that's somebody safe to share with.
Right. They're safe. Exactly. Because you want to make sure you have a safe person, safe people, a support system is what it sounds like you're talking about, building that support network for
Yes,
you.
yes, exactly.
Yes. Okay. Well, this has been great, Karen. I'm so glad we got to just share with our listeners today. And just remember, if you like what you heard today, remember she has more techniques. She has more things that she can share with us. But you have to let us know how much it helped you, and we want to hear about it. And just remember, like, share, subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, and it's only going to help other people that are going through the same thing that you're going through, or maybe one of your loved ones is going through. So we definitely want to do all that we can to help. And yeah, just tune in for our next episode, and we can't wait to see you. And just remember, we are the Narcissist Asking for a Friend podcast. We look forward to seeing you on the next episode.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Bye.